This holiday season, prepare to have the stuffing scared out of you. Thanksgiving.
So how many mince pies is too many mince pies in a day?
I mean, I've already done a box myself, so...
Today?
There's no, but...
No, I mean...
yesterday.
I mean, how many in a day is too many? In a consecutive days?
There isn't a limit.
Because I'm averaging about 2 a day.
Concerned. I mean, that's rookie numbers.
What? You mean every day? I'm averaging 1 in the morning, 1 in the evening, every day.
I mean, I generally eat them 2 at a time anyway, so I'm having at least 4 a day if I'm having a couple.
Where are you getting them from?
I mean, at the minute, just like whatever supermarket, but there is a local bakery that does really nice ones, so as we get closer in, I'll probably be going for a dozen of them.
I firmly believe the shittier, or shall we say, more lower tier supermarkets do the better mince pies.
See, I don't know, because, like I say, I think I've been spoilt by these local bakery ones where the pastry's really nice and thin, and they're only like thin pies. They're not like the big chunky ones that you get.
All right.
So you get a good ratio of filling to pastry. Nobody's speaking to you, Alexa. Be quiet.
See, so I'm currently rocking. Oh no, where's the box?
But yeah, when I lived at home, we lived across the road from one of these. See, I banged out a few of them the other week.
Yeah, that's got that.
But we lived across the road from one of these bakeries, and so we were getting them like a dozen at a time, a couple of times a week, and I was probably eating. I mean, that was the reason why we were getting a dozen a couple of times a week, because I was just, whenever I was near the cupboard where they were, I was like, oh, I'll just have one of these. Yeah, I fucking love a mince pie. I think they should be an all year round thing.
So good. What if we did a mince pie taste comparison? We can rank the supermarkets. We can get our horror wine, and we can rank. I was told at work though that someone had because mince pies are normally short crust pastry. Is that what it is?
I think so.
Puff pastry mince pies. The sort of pastry you get with like steak and kidney pie.
Yeah.
I don't like the idea of that. I'm not having it.
I don't know. I mean, I'd try it. I'd give it a go.
Yeah.
See, I just really want a mince pie now. We're talking about them, and I know that I've eaten all the ones we have in the house already. So I do have to. I'll have to go and run the car in a bit anyway, just to warm it up. So maybe that's how I'll do it. I'll have a run out to get some mince pies.
Go warm the car up for some mince pies. We're going out. We're out of mince pies. Go warm the car up.
That's it.
That's so good. They should be year round. I
think they should be year round. I do, 100%.
It's scandalous, absolutely scandalous. And what about the alcohol infused mince pies? That's a bit much. I think that's a bit much.
I think that's a bit much because generally stuff like that, liqueurs, chocolate liqueurs. Yeah, they tip over that edge very quickly, I think, and yeah, you gotta. Less is more when you're putting booze in food, I think, definitely.
Okay, where do you stand on Christmas pudding?
See, I'm not a huge fan of it anyway.
I agree. I don't like it.
No, I don't. I mean, I think as I've got older and my taste buds have probably matured a little bit, I can eat it now. But as a kid, it was always, that's why I would go for mince pies over the Christmas pudding. We'd have Christmas dinner. I don't want Christmas pudding. I'm going to have some mince pies. As we get a little bit older, it's like, I'll try a little bit of it, but I'd still rather have. Yeah, I think I'd still rather have the mince pies than Christmas pud.
The thing with Christmas pudding as well, it's basically like Christmas cake without the shell.
Without the icing, without the good bit.
The good bit, the icing and the marzipan. Just give me the marzipan and the icing, and I'm game. I'm sound. I'll take that. Yeah. And as far as Christmas dinner, where do you stand with turkey?
I mean, it's all right, isn't it? It's not great, but
it's really not that great, is it?
Yeah, no, I suppose it's a weird thing to say. It's tradition and rah rah rah, and it's like, yeah, but it's crap. If you don't like
it's really crap.
Why are we sticking with this rubbish tradition?
It's shit chicken.
It is shit chicken. I think my mum. And we've never got like a full turkey. I think my mum usually gets like a crown or a roll or something. So it tends to be
a roll.
A roll. It's like, I think they just take the bone part of it, and you get like a loin, like a roll, or something. I don't know. I'm not a butcher.
Roll the meat up, yeah. Just
yes. A burrito. We just have a turkey burrito.
I find it very dry.
It can be very dry. Yeah, I think that's it though. I think if you just go for like a crown or the roll, then it tends to be easier to keep it moist. But I think increasingly the last few, I mean, I've gone, apart from a few occasions, I've always gone to my parents' house. So it's my mum's Christmas dinner that I'm most used to. And increasingly over the last few years, the turkey has become less and less, and we get like pork and some beef or something as well. Like my dad insisted, because it's Christmas, there needs to be more than one meat on the plate.
Yes.
Because at least
100%.
2, ideally 3. But over the years, the amount of turkey has lessened, and the volume of the other meats has increased.
That's a 100% right there. That is, Christmas needs to be a carvery.
Yeah,
basically. And if
otherwise it is just a roast dinner.
Exactly. It needs to be it's like the one time of the year where all the foods come together, they put their differences aside, everything comes together on one big plate, and you should not be able to see your plate. Yeah.
Sharing a plate in unity.
Crips and Bloods back together, you know. They should all the foods put their differences aside. It's like that it was Christmas, right? In World War II, where they came together, they played football. It's exactly what it is. All the foods come together.
Christmas Day.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
14, whenever it was.
Yeah, shouldn't need to see your plate. You shouldn't be able to see your plate.
No, definitely shouldn't be able to see your plate.
Speaking of turkey, I was as soon as that mince pie went straight down my gob. It's like, got an idea here.
I've got it.
It's a long one. But I can get there. There.
All relevant stuff anyway. All good. We should be. You know, tis almost the season. The season is almost upon us. So you know, we're answering.
Apparently not till
questions.
Well, apparently not till December for you.
I mean, it should. You know, December the 1st at least. I think is reasonable. Don't you think?
Putting your decorations up is a weekend thing. It's a Sunday thing. Come on. So
yeah. Okay.
December 1st, Friday.
It's the last Sunday before the weekend in December. We'll be doing ours next weekend.
On the 3rd, yeah. Okay.
Well, at some point over that weekend.
Well, on that bombshell, folks, welcome back to the Dreadcast.
There we go. It's the Dreadcast.
It is the Dreadcast. Look at a little break.
What episode number is it?
Do you know what? So, do you know what? No, we do. Yeah, welcome back to Dreadcast, folks. My name is Tom. This is Aidan. And this will be, as I do the usual of just word salading and longing this out as I search the folders.
Go to the YouTube channel and
search my one hard drive that's dedicated to this monumental show of shows that I'm sure will be picked up by a studio or a production company at some point. Ah, there it is. So this is now episode 63 today.
63.
Fun fact for you all, it would have been 64 I've already actually done all the artwork that says 64. I'm going to have to change it back to 63 because we changed the plans. Yay! Yes, so today would have been Bride of Frankenstein, but a few things changed around. We took the week off. We'll come back to Bride of Frankenstein next week. But today is...
Yeah.
What the name in the title you can see. You obviously know what you're listening to. We'll get on to the film soon. There's some business to deal with beforehand. I feel I've got some business. I've got some business to deal with.
You've got some
beforehand.
business. I suspect it might know what it is, but I think I've got a little bit of things. But yeah, it's Turkey. It's a Turkey Day related movie.
It is. It's very much so Turkey Day. I'm looking forward to this one. I've been looking forward to this for a while. Well, what do you think I'm going to bring up? What do you think I'm going to bring to the table? I think
you're going to talk about the Scream 7 fiasco.
I think we need to talk about the Scream... Rest in peace, the Scream franchise.
Yeah.
Because holy shit.
If you weren't fed up of it already,
folks, killing people is bad. That's it. It's as straightforward as that. And... as I filibuster again to try and get her name.
Melissa Barrera.
That's the one. Melissa Barrera spoke out about the ongoing conflict between Israel and Gaza. Yeah. And she got shit-canned instantly.
For it. What do we know what she actually said? Because I've been sort of loosely following this story. Certainly the main points that I reckon you're going to bring up now. But I never once thought I could be bothered to actually find out exactly what she said. So no idea.
Because basically she's been posting quite a lot. Not the only celebrity / actor / person in the spotlight who has been posting support for either side. Remember, folks, killing people is bad.
Yes.
That's it. Just going to keep pointing that out. And she posted, I believe, a lot of support for Palestinian people. Bless you, Aiden.
Bless me.
A lot of support for Palestinian people. A lot of sympathy towards Palestinian people because of what's going on in the conflict out there. And Spyglass were having none of it. A production company for Scream. And gone. Shit can. Gone.
Yeah.
And conveniently as well, Jenna Ortega is now gone from Scream 7
due to scheduling conflicts.
We did that at the exact same time. I'm so happy.
Yeah, because I know full well that we both feel exactly the same about this. It's all very convenient, isn't it? That literally days after her co-star and presumably friend is canned from this picture, that it's revealed that the other main cast member has a conflict. Like they didn't know months, years in advance that Wednesday was going to be shooting another series. Like, you know what I mean? It's just nonsense.
Well, that's the report. Apparently they did know. And they did know that she would be filming Wednesday in spring of next year.
Yeah.
And it's only just now come to light that she would not be conveniently a day after, or maybe later on the same day that Melissa was fired, that Jenna Ortega would not be coming back for Scream 7.
I mean, any point in the same week, it's too convenient for it to be
too
true.
Close.
It's just nonsense. I don't believe it for a second.
So yeah, we have the two main leads gone from the Scream series. The Scream, I guess you could call it a rebooting, even though it's continuing the story. It's refreshing, bringing back the franchise that didn't die off with Scream 4, but sort of took a nap for a while. Yeah, I think Scream 4 was 2010, 2011. Let's have a look.
Something like that.
But
yeah, it
was about a decade. Yeah, 2011. Yeah,
the same universe, but yeah, it's a lot of it. A lot of those later ones do feel like they are just reboots of the original.
They do, but I know we did Scream 6 earlier in this year when you were a little babby on the show, little babby Aiden, and I remember you saying that you're not the biggest Scream fan. It's all good,
no,
but Did you see Scream 5? The one that their first one that they came back.
Yeah, I watched them all. I recapped all of them on the run up to doing that episode.
So, I loved Scream 5. Scream 6 was okay. It's definitely not. It's not one of my favorite horrors of the year. But Scream 5 I thought was a great refresh of the series.
I liked it. I certainly liked it a lot more than 4. 4 was dull for me. Very dull.
But Scream 5 felt fresh. And I was happy with Jenna Ortega and Melissa. But I'm gonna get her last. I keep butchering her last name. Barrera. Her last name. It was nice. They felt very fresh new characters, fresh new group, especially with Randy's niece and nephew. That was cool to see. And now it's like, with them gone, please do not try and tack on. I don't want to say B characters. You got your A characters, your B characters, to a main story and
pushing the rest of the friend group forward. Well, I think the biggest, not rumor, but the biggest, the more frequent thing that's being said about it is, well, now you'll have the money to give Neve Campbell what she wants.
Yeah,
and fans are calling out for a return to Sydney and her story. I can't see it.
I can't see it, especially what they did to her with Scream 6. They shouldn't pay her up.
And now if they do approach her with that, I mean, if I was Neve Campbell, I'd tell them to take a long walk off a short pier.
Yeah,
you can't. Like, it's basically like, oh well, you didn't want to put the work in to keep me in the franchise back when I was in it and relevant, and it was still sort of my thing. Now you're clearly up shit's creek because your two main stars from the new series have gone. You come crawling back. I'd definitely tell them to fucking jump.
She's not made of stone though. They drove a dump truck of money up to her house.
I mean, yeah. And I'm saying this full in the knowledge that I'm not having a dump truck full of money driven up to my door, because I would absolutely be a hypocrite. But it wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me if she just went like, well, no, because I've made peace with not being, brought back for that, and I've moved on.
As shit as this whole situation is, and it is awful, because I believe this was Melissa. I think she had, she's of Mexican, she's Hispanic origin. And I think she'd done a lot of television shows and small films. I think this was her breakthrough film.
Yeah,
and I thought she was great in it. Where was I going with this? The story is wrapped up. The story for me was wrapped up in 5. You didn't need to continue. Like, it was so refreshing with those two new characters and their friends. You didn't need to try and do more and more and more of it. And like Scream 7, I had no idea where they were going to go after Scream 6. Scream 6 killers felt very tacked on, and that's the thing with the Scream series, which I think we talked about. Ghostface is very different in characteristics to Michael, Jason, Leatherface. Michael, Jason, Leatherface are who they are. Ghostface is a person in disguise with an agenda.
Well, we've never had the same Ghostface twice.
No,
have we? It's always a copycat. It's always somebody inspired by or related to one of the previous. Yeah,
but with an agenda, like that, they're using the Ghostface as a mask to hide their identity.
Yeah,
that's all. Michael's Michael. Jason is Jason. Jason's killing again. It's not like, who could it be under the hockey?
No,
fucking Jason. Like, so I don't even if Sydney came back, right? Scream 1, it was her boyfriend and Stu. Scream 2, it was the boyfriend's mum and Timothy Oliphant. Scream 3, it was her half brother. The director, half brother. I can't remember his name. Scream 4, it was
Scooter or Skeeter or something.
Scooter.
Like that, maybe it wasn't. I don't
Skeeter.
know.
Wait, Skeeter's the blue guy from Doug.
It was him.
It was him.
It was him all along.
It was.
I'm sure he's got some daft name.
Roman.
Probably really Roman. There we go. That's close enough.
Skeeter, Scooter.
Scooter.
Didn't Skeeter in Doug go like? He like squeaked.
Yeah, he used to make like weird noises. Yeah.
Doug was great. Anyway, that's for the Doug podcast coming later on next year.
Dreadcast.
The The Doug cast, yeah. So that Scream 3 was half hour. Scream 4 was Jill, her niece or cousin?
Yeah.
Played by Emma Roberts.
It was some.
It was another fact. It was a fact. So
family member.
Scream 5 was just.
I mean, that was a stupid storyline as well. It was like her niece who was essentially jealous that she didn't get enough attention than the family member that had tried, that somebody had tried to murder like several times. It was such a stupid story.
Here we go. Growing up, her mother Kate neglected her a lot, fueled by her cousin's immense stardom and fame, being cheated on, and her cousin's successful book tour of her self-help novel. The events spiraled Jill over the edge into psychopathy.
Yeah.
Scream 5.
But then 5, we had the boyfriend again. So it started the storyline again. So 5, we had the boyfriend again. 6, we have the parent of the boyfriend. So the next one is Scooter.
But that's what I'm saying. Like they all have a different agenda rather than psychopathic killer just going killing people.
Yeah.
Right. Well, which changed later on in
supernatural zombie killer or whatever.
Yeah, and which changed later on in the Halloween series when they added canon story into being like Jamie being related, Jamie and Laurie being related to Michael and whatnot, rather than Halloween 1, Michael just killing.
Yeah.
Ghostface, whoever's under the Ghostface mask, always has an agenda. And if you brought back Sydney, how many people can be trying to kill this woman?
Unless they bring her back as the killer.
Dun, dun, dun. Well, there's also in that rumor of Sydney coming back, there's also speculation rumor of Patrick Dempsey coming back, which we'll talk about Patrick Dempsey very soon. Coming back too, and when I read that, I completely blanked. I'm thinking Patrick Dempsey was in Scream. Oh yeah, he was in Scream 3 with Skeeter.
Oh God, was it? I can't remember that.
He was.
Much about it.
He was a police officer.
No, not typecast at all. Then.
Yeah, no, not at all. So I don't know. You've already killed off. You killed off Dewey, Deputy Doofus. Gale didn't. Well, everyone was near enough immortal in Scream 6. Gale survived.
Yeah. She probably shouldn't have done. But
Sydney pieced out. Sydney's done with this shit. So there's your legacy characters pretty much gone. You tried to establish your new ones in Scream 5. Did what you could with Scream 6. Just let them go off into the sunset.
Well, that's what we said, wasn't it? That's what we said, that they'd get rid of they'd get rid of all the legacy characters and then move forward with entirely the new cast. But yeah, it looks like they may have to retain and claw back some of those. But I think they should just stop. Just stop. Do something else.
It's for what we say about Scream 6 and especially Scream 3. Scream 3 is potentially the worst of the series, but it's watchable. It's still one of the top series, I'd say, in horror that doesn't have a majority of awful films. Look at something like Hellraiser or latter Friday the 13th, for example, or Halloween. There are some stinkers in those franchises.
But
Scream,
that's
for the most part, is kind of consistent for the most part.
It is, but that's why it needs to stop, I think.
Agreed.
They're very quickly going to go down, they're going to get progressively worse.
Yeah.
And I personally think that they pushed their luck as far as they could go anyway. So yeah, it might be time to just put it to bed.
Yeah.
Do something else.
So it does suck, but I think we need to rest Ghostface. I think it needs to rest in peace. Did you ever watch the TV show?
No.
I tried it. It was awful. Personal opinion, folks. Personal opinion. I did not enjoy it.
Not being a huge Scream fan, anyway, I thought I'm not that fussed about it. And then I can't really recall ever hearing anybody talking about it, either positively or negatively. So I just sort of forgot about it and thought, well, that was the thing that happened.
It was indeed, as was this whole shitstorm of Melissa and Jenna Ortega, and I don't know. I could potentially see other people dropping out. The production being on halted for a while, even though there's the rumors of they just want to get going, reboot, bring people back and go. But
this should do. But this raises another point anyway about like people. Human beings are going to have opinions about stuff. We are, and that's right, and that's fine, and
yeah,
we should be able to express them, and perhaps it's more sensible to just not publicly weigh in because people are going to disagree with you and it might cost you your job. But at the same time, it's like separating the art from the artist thing in a slightly different way again, isn't it? I suppose it's like, can we just ignore whatever she's saying? I mean, I suppose if you say that, then you've got to ignore everything everybody says, and there is definitely some things that people come out with that aren't cool and shouldn't be ignored. But it's just a whole, like, just generally when something big happens in the world, we ask celebrities what their opinion is, and we probably really shouldn't be, because who gives a crap what the winner of Big Brother 10 thought about the petrol crisis or whatever it might be.
Do not idolize celebrities. They are not heroes. They are in some sense, but they're not people you should live your life to, like follow your life to. One of the funniest examples I've seen of this is a Dave Chappelle skit on one of his shows. He's talking about when 9/11 happened, and the news reporters going, so now we're going to speak to Ja Rule on these moments. Ja, what do you think? And it's like, I don't give a fuck what Ja Rule thinks.
No,
it's not like
he's not
another terrorist accident happen. Terrorist attack happens. They go, oh God, where is Ja? I need to find out what Ja Rule thinks. Nobody gives a shit.
At times like this, you want to know what the military leaders and politicians and humanitarian aid workers think about these sorts of things. Not pop stars and actors. It's very silly.
It all comes down to business though, doesn't it? Because I think she should be allowed to have her opinion. Everyone should be. But it comes down to the chain reaction. She has that opinion, goes to produce the film. They could lose a lot of marketing. They could lose a lot of revenue from it. Then that goes to the production company that would lose money. It's all about money and business because of this.
It is.
And it sucks.
It's very silly.
I hope she comes out of it on the other side. I'm glad Ortega's not been really affected by it. I think hopefully she still kills it in horror, because I posted the other day on Twitter, it's like she's one of the best new up-and-coming stars, I'd say, in horror for a long time. We haven't seen someone like her for a long time.
No, we've got Beetlejuice 2 has finished filming now, hasn't it? So she's going to be in that as well.
Wednesday.
I
enjoyed Wednesday.
It
wasn't
well enough.
Really Addams Family, but
I keep an eye on it to see where it goes. But Jenna Ortega and probably Lauren Lavera are the two big up and comers at the minute, I think. I can't see. Like I say, Jenna Ortega in particular is involved in far too many big productions and franchises for this to be a huge kick to her. And good on her. If it is as I suspect, that she's walked in support of a colleague's treatment, then all power to her. I respect her for that.
Yeah, not enough celebs do that. So
definitely. So all power to her, but we'll see.
That is the current shitstorm of Scream 7. Who knows? Who knows what's going to happen in the future? But I tell you one thing, we'll keep you updated here on the Dreadcast.
We will.
About a week later than the events have happened.
Yes, with our half-baked, ill-informed, knee-jerk opinions.
Reading off websites.
Yeah.
That was pretty much, even though we've been away for 2 weeks, that was pretty much, I think, the only big thing really that I can think of that's happened in the world of horror, and stuff I wanted to bring up. I've personally been very busy in personal life. I haven't watched anything new apart from what we talked about When Evil Lurks, which we'll talk about in a month's time. I've got a list. I believe this week I'm going to start watching some more. Probably going to try and do Megan this week. And try and catch up with that.
Oh, yeah.
Catch up with some of this year's horror films. But yeah, other than that, prepped for, like I told you off stream, kind of prepped for the December episodes. It's going to be jazzy. It's going to be good. I told you my picks.
Yes, I have yet to pick my picks, but I will be doing that.
Sir.
I've not just need to whittle them down. I've got a bit of a short list. I just need to
All right.
To hard.
I need to know then before you put your decorations up. So the fine folks out there can
I'm hoping to tell you this evening. It's one of the things that I was intending to get done today is to make my, as well as change the oil in the car.
Well, priorities.
It was to do some prep. Yeah.
Well, by the time this episode comes out, the news will be out on what Christmas horror films we will be doing throughout of December. So that'll be fun. But we will be tacking on Bride of Frankenstein as well. We've got to get that done. Looking forward to that. Do you have anything just to bring to the table? Anything to bring to the spooky table?
Not really. Some very silly little things that
we do love
was out the other week. So I got, I'm sure you know what a blind box is, Tom, a blind bag, little, the little collectible figures.
Yeah, I'm guilty of subscribing to Loot Crate when they came out, and I got some blind bags in there. Yeah.
So I was in a little shop in Plymouth a few weeks back that was selling some Keshi Surprise monster figures. So we managed to get a little Wolfman. It comes with a little reflective sticker. There he is again. I don't know if
you put your hand behind it, it should focus. Or not. Yeah, there we go.
There we go.
Oh, that's pretty cool. You're going to paint it?
So we got a little Wolfman. Paint him. I might just keep him as he is. We've also got, where's the other one? I like this guy in particular because he's one of my favourite monsters ever.
Hey! Wait, why is he not green?
He's not green, but I've not actually tested it out yet, but it looks like he might be glow in the dark. I think he is glow in the dark.
Well, seeing as it works so well for the wine bottle, why don't we try that on record? If you just place it, turn off all the lights.
But yeah, they also came with it, so got a little sticker. So it's like, I can't. It's like they're real monster ones. I can't.
That's cool, man. I like them.
So I was like, yeah, go on.
Are they like solid resin?
Do you remember Monster in My Pocket?
Vaguely, yeah.
The 90s toy. They're basically like that. So it's like a denser rubber. So they're a little bit squishy, a little bit squidgy, but
nice little trinket figures.
And that's about it. That's all I've got to bring to the
table.
Wow,
folks, there we go. Look at this. This is top-notch horror podcast here, where behind me, not a single thing of horror imagery to that, which is what podcasts nowadays have. Even though we should be sat on a couch opposite each other like this, talking. Not a single bit of, not a horror T-shirt or nothing going on there apart from your little trinkets.
I've got my Green Man in Wicker Man T-shirt on.
Yeah, but that's a given for you. I expected that.
Yeah, all right, fair enough.
Top-notch horror podcasting, only here at
everybody
the Dreadcast.
Do this bit.
No, they fast forward to go on to their other podcast they listen to. Anyway. What are we here today to talk about?
We're going with it. Should we get on with it? We made a reference to turkeys about what feels like an hour ago now.
And Patrick Dempsey.
And Patrick Dempsey. So
What are we here
we
to
are
talk
going to
about?
talk today about the new release, which is so it's not that often we do a new release either on the Dreadcast, so it's good.
No, every now and then.
It's good that we've got one. But this one was one that we were interested in. We did the trailer breakdown for.
We did.
Grindhouse introduction. There we go. There's the Grindhouse double bill. So this was this is Eli Roths Thanksgiving. Eli Roth. How do you?
Eli
Gum.
Eli Roth.
Eli Roth directed. So it comes from one of the trailers between the main features of the Grindhouse production.
Yes, yes, it does.
And you were particularly excited for this one, weren't you, Tom?
I am. Anytime I can talk about Grindhouse, 2007 Grindhouse, I'm a happy bunny. I'm a happy turkey, because this it's very cliche when people say it, and especially for something like this changed my life a little bit, because it was. I'm bringing the backstory back. It's not even that exciting. Oh, you look like you're about to walk away. Where are you going?
I am just getting my slippers. Sorry.
Oh, you old man! Let's
turning into such an old man.
Talk a bit quietly, folks. He's just getting his slippers on. He might get a throw on it. Loud noises might spook him.
To be honest, the blanket would be good.
Oh, a blankie. Yeah. It is that time of year. So, this is when I was at college, art college. Didn't know what I wanted to do as far as art in the future. Did 3D design, model design. And it was the same time this came out. And I built a little miniature set of the army base in Planet Terror. Absolutely loved it. And I have one of those teachers, and it's one of those tutors that if you get one of these in your life, it will stay with you for the rest of your life. He was the sort of eccentric old man with the handlebar moustache and was like, oh yeah, just do that, just bit of that. And I'm like, yeah, this is awesome. This is what tutors should be. Started making more props from this film, more little miniature sets, and I love everything about it. I love the grittiness, I love the posters, I love how it's not perfect. It's fun. A lot of people don't like Death Proof, a lot of people don't like Planet Terror. Either way, a lot of people didn't even see the trailers because it wasn't shown over here as it should have been in the nearly 3.5 hour long installment. Yeah. But one of the best trailers.
That was a bit criminal, really.
It was, but it's still very niche, I feel. Thankfully, the superhero boom hadn't started even at that point. So, could have done with something like this. But we had all the fake trailers like Machete, Don't, Hobo with Shotgun, Werewolf Women of the SS, and Thanksgiving by Eli Roth. And I think it's probably, out of all the trailers, probably my second favourite. Because that one felt the most raw and 70s exploitation, gritty, something that someone would try and sell you down the pub. It reminded me as well of another Thanksgiving style film called Blood Freak. I don't know if you ever heard of this.
Oh, the title rings a bell.
I think it's also known as Blood Rage. Let me get the synopsis for you. It's from 1972. Okay, so just back from Vietnam, Herschel is at loose ends until one day he stops to help beautiful Bible-quoting Angel fix her car. She takes him home where her scapegrace sister, Anne, immediately plies him with, what is this writing? With drugs in order to seduce him. Instantly addicted, he needs money for his habit and takes a job at a turkey farm, where he's instructed to eat some experimental lab-grown turkeys. He does and undergoes a hideous transformation. His head turns into a turkey's head. Yeah. It's incredible.
At screenshots of the hideous transformation.
It's incredible.
I definitely
this may be,
want to watch this.
Yeah, we may have to do this next year for Thanksgiving. But the trailer for this reminded me of the grittiness of this, and I'm so glad he's finally managed to get it produced and get it done. because all in all, I absolutely loved his full version of Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
I love it. I thought it was fantastic. That story kind of went a bit everywhere, but I think I got there in the end. Just wanted to
I'm
say,
still
yeah,
distracted by a turkey-headed killer.
You want to talk? Let's talk Blood Freak. Fuck it.
I'm gonna have to track that one down definitely, and watch that. We will do
It's really gruesome. It's really gruesome.
So yeah, no, Thanksgiving. I also really enjoyed it. It was a fun romp. I think is a phrase that we've used many times before, and this was definitely in that camp. Really entertaining. It skipped along at a reasonable pace. I don't think there was ever a moment where I was thinking, like, oh, come on, wrap it up, which I do tend to get with most things these days, because I'm a sucker for YouTube shorts and reels and things like that, and I think
our attention span has gone.
It's ruined I definitely feel like I'm a victim of that attention span thing. But this clipped along, and I never felt like it needed to hurry up.
Too busy watching jokes on YouTube Shorts. I agree. And it's rocking a 7 out of 10 on IMDb. That's it came out a week ago. Came out last Friday, so just over a week ago. I saw it on the Saturday night. So that could change. That will probably go down. I probably to like a 6.5, 6.6 with user reviews. But that is incredibly solid for an Eli Roth film. I mean,
yeah,
I would give it to him that this is probably, is it still at 7 with 7,500 ratings. I think this is his best horror film.
Oh, that's a bold claim.
I think what
I don't disagree in that. I felt like I did really enjoy it, but I felt like it was a little bit tame for Eli Roth. Like, just thinking
he's gone tame. He's gone tame for quite a while now.
Like, I was expecting a little bit, not to say that this is like not bloody or anything, but I was expecting a little bit more blood and gore than what we got. And I think there are a couple of kills in this that are relatively clean in terms of the gore and the what we, the dismemberment and what we see. That's not to say that it's bad, but I think I went into it expecting like levels of violence of Green Inferno or something like that.
Green Inferno, yes. But the thing is, Green Inferno, as far as gore and effects, is for the gore and effects people. It's a really heavy on that film. As a film, though, it's pretty mediocre.
Yeah. I mean, on the other side of the coin, the film is certainly better. The plot's better, more cohesive. I mean, going back to what we were whittering on about with Scream, this is very much in the mold of Scream. It's that sort of,
it's pure 90s.
We've got a whodunit.
Yeah.
90s, early 2000s. I think Urban Legends, Cherry Falls, Valentine, any of those sort of...
It feels like it follows the sort of pattern / layout of I Know What You Did Last Summer. If you had to pick one of them, because this film, it's a very, very simple plot. So this is not going to be an episode where we're going to go scream shot by shot by shot. A event / tragedy happens at the beginning, and because of what happens there, that is the catalyst of what unfolds in the whole film.
Yeah,
a killer is spawned from the tragic events at the beginning of the film, and starts picking people off that were involved in this tragic events, and our young plucky group of late teens and our B players that were also involved in the tragic event at the beginning are trying to figure out who's the killer, what's going on. That's it. And it's happened around Thanksgiving. I mean, that's it. It's very straightforward, and I love that it's straightforward like that. I mean, we talked like this before with some of the slashers. Kind of grew up with these films. I mean, we talked about Valentine. They're all very simple, very basic.
Yeah, they are.
And they work. If they're done well, they work, and they're fun to sit down and watch for an hour and a half.
I think this was done very well. It was. Did you figure out who did it?
No.
No, neither did I. Not until we were literally like seconds before it's revealed did I figure it out.
So, to anyone out there who is this is a new film, and like you said, we don't normally do new releases. It's not that popular. But for anyone out there, spoilers, big spoilers coming now for the rest of the episode. Hang on, have we even said any spoilers yet? If we have, I'm sorry about them.
No,
big spoilers
coming films and mince pies for the last 2 hours.
Do you know what? Iceland used to do really good mince pies. Now
on it.
You're back on it. No. Okay, spoilers for the rest of the episode. So
Yes.
3, 2, 1. I didn't realise this is in the same universe as Scream, and Sydney came back and is the killer. I did not see that coming. She took Eli Roths' money.
Did, Tom.
Wait, what film was I watching? No,
Nobody
Patrick
did,
Dempsey.
Mr. Simpson. That's impossible.
Wait. Is that? I can't believe it. I can
tell the difference between a butler.
No, you can't, Mr.
No, you can't, Mr. Simpson. No one can.
I did not
Yes.
clue it was Patrick Dempsey playing Sheriff Eric Newland until Jess, our lead girl, finds him at the end after she's been chased by the killer. She finds him on the ground, knocked out by his police car. That is when I was like, this doesn't fit. His positioning there doesn't fit. So I was at that point when I think
it was a little bit after that when he says, because at this point they think it is the ex-boyfriend character, and
yeah,
he says, I shot him, I think I got him, or something like that. And it was at that point I went, it's him, 100%, it's going to be him. And I think it's like literally the next scene where it's revealed that it is. But which is fine, and I guess that's what you want, really. You don't necessarily want to be able to predict things like this right from the get-go. There are a few red herrings thrown in with
big time.
There's what, 3 or 4 characters I think that have got a different motive. A couple of them I think it's possible to write off straight away because of the build and the frame of the killer and things like that. And a couple of the guys are
definitely.
Of people are just far too hench, far too big, burly chaps compared to the quite live person that's. And I don't think that they went as far as changing the killer.
No, for the most part, I was trying to look for
fact.
that. I was trying to look for that. Like, is the killer in this shot more stocky? Is the killer in this shot taller or shorter? No, for the most part, it was quite consistent.
It's quite.
So,
it is, I think.
For instance, one person with a motive is the manager of the store. Is it Right Mart or Right Price?
Right Mart. So we should say the tragic event is
the one at the
a riot, a stampede at a Black Friday sales event. It is Right Mart, but essentially Walmart, any of those sort of big
Best Buy or
department stores. It's meant to be like a local version of that. That is the tragic event. There is a stampede, and then 1 year later, these killings start to occur with somebody dressed up as it's the local.
No, is it John
Carver.
John Carver, yeah.
Who is that? Yeah, like the sort of local pilgrim period settler. I couldn't quite remember what he's.
Here we go. John Carver was one of the pilgrims who braved the Mayflower voyage in 1620, which resulted in the creation of the Plymouth colony. colony in America. He's
there you go.
credited
He's the
with
founder of
writing the
Plymouth.
Mayflower Compact. Yes. Now, the thing as well with oh god, I lost my train of thought. It was a good one. Yes, the event at the beginning, the riot at the Right Mart. It was actually came down to the owner not putting on enough security as well. That's another point that really gets played out throughout the film, because when you said a year later, he eventually decides, I'm closing it. I'm not even going to open it because I don't want those events to happen again.
But it's after the killings start that he does that,
Yeah.
because it's supposed to be that he's going ahead and this time he's going to do it right, and it's very much like Amityville mayor keeping the beaches open. Like, well, we had a tragedy, but you know, we need to get on with our lives. And you know, he's obviously accused of just being in it for the money, and it's his greed that's taking over. But yeah, there's half a dozen. Well, 3 or 4, I think, different potential suspects.
Yeah, I think the first one you're led to believe is our character Mitch, the manager of the store. Because when the riot occurs, well, before even the riot, we've got a quick scene of a Thanksgiving dinner, which Patrick Dempsey, as the cop, turns up to. This is where he's going for dinner. And that's when they get the call that Mitch has to go manage the store that night. Not happy about it. We then end up at the store. The riot is slowly about to occur. And when it does, Mitch's wife, Amanda, is there. And she tragically and very horrifically is killed in the riot.
Yeah.
Which leads to our motive for the killer in the end. But what's good is we don't get any indication whatsoever from the Thanksgiving scene at the beginning to the riot to the store scene where the sheriff is there to lead it to us thinking that it's him at all.
No,
there is zero motivation.
Very good.
It was very well done. Yeah, we don't get any hints that sheriff is in love with Amanda, has feelings for her, or were they actually together? I don't know if in the
very much
they
so.
were together. Yeah.
Very much so. Yeah, there's another reveal that she was pregnant.
That was it. Yes. Slight reveal. He has the picture right on the board, I believe. Yeah. Mm-hmm. We don't get any of that. It's hidden very well. So Mitch, in theory, is kind of one of the first people you're led to believe he could be the killer. He's got a simple motive. He's seen his wife being trampled by these idiots.
And
right in this
throughout
store.
the film, he's leading a protest group as well.
Yeah.
So he's interrupting the Thanksgiving Day parade and various other things with his team of protesters.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're I think it's difficult to say. You're strongly led to believe it's him, or it sort of points very strongly in his direction, except for the fact that by this point in the film, we've seen the killer a few times, and Mitch is twice the size of him. Like,
he's a big guy.
So it's clearly not him, unless they're doing some deliberate, like, you know, costume changey stuff. To mislead
it's too obvious, but it's a nice little. Could it be? Gives the audience. It makes the audience think a bit more.
The other suspects we have are the the main character is was it Jess?
Yeah.
She is the daughter, Jess. So it's Jess Wright. She's the daughter of the of Thomas. Is it Thomas Wright? The
the owner of
the owner of the store. So it's her and her friends. They sort of get access to the store a little early before the opening, which is also one of the catalysts of the riot starting. That people see them in store before everybody else, and
they sneak in the back.
That causes the problem.
But we're also led to believe. Sorry, wasn't it just to get a phone? Because I believe one of the other friends, Evan, the douchebag, I think his phone had broke. I think it was him, and they wanted to go get a phone.
His phone had broken in the fight with the guy from the other
jock.
school.
Yeah.
So, and they antagonize him by and it's him that sort of pushes for everybody to brush the
Yeah.
doors, basically. Yeah. So it's a phone, and because they're on their way somewhere else, I can't remember. But the Jess's current boyfriend is set up as her ex-boyfriend at the time of the accident is set up as being a suspect. Her new boyfriend is also pegged as being a possible.
I thought it was him for the majority
I was leaning
of
more
the film.
towards him. And I
Her
think
new
they were trying-
boyfriend Ryan.
because nobody had ever really had much to do with him, and it was that sort of like new guy in your life. The whole, again, sort of comparable to Scream. It was that sort of like, well, the new person in your group is almost certainly the person that's
It would have been
doing it.
him. It would have been him if this was one of the films back in the late 90s, 2000s. It
Yeah.
would have been him, without doubt.
Yeah. And then randomly there's that gun nut character.
Yeah.
Like the sort of metalhead tow truck driver, stroke gun dealer, stroke drug dealer, who comes out of nowhere as sort of having a bit of an infatuation with Jess. Although that doesn't become apparent until like his second or third time on screen. It's not like initially hinted at.
His story, along with... Sorry, I interrupt you. You finished.
That's right. Well, I was just going to say they sort of in the latter half of the film, he's sort of introduced as being another potential killer, as like it could be him because he's got access to. I think there's the scene in the parade where the killer has the tranquilizer pistol.
Yeah.
And they
yes,
mention it being
yes.
some like access, and then I think there's a reference to him being able to get hold of like specialist equipment or military hardware or something like that, and it's like, oh, maybe it could be him, but there's no real concrete reason for it to be him.
No, not at all. And there's also his storyline, along with the young kid who Evan was getting to do his report for.
Oh,
the
yeah.
kid at the class. He's sort of interlinked with him as well. Like he's at our gun nuts party about so let's say 2/3 through. He's acting like a bodyguard for the party. You know, he's standing there with the shades on and the jacket, like only for VIPs.
Yeah.
And you don't really get what their connection is. But also, this young kid is, he's friends with Ryan, Jess's new boyfriend, the slimy guy. And there's a little story about how they were trying to snag Adderall at the time of the riot.
Yeah, from one of the security guards.
Yeah, which is why originally Jess thought Ryan was involved with the killings, and we find out they were just there to try and snag Adderall. Nothing really. It doesn't really go anywhere with his story. I'm trying to find his name. This young kid. He writes Evan's report, and it ends up being the teacher's own work. Like there's a little fun bit there, but nothing really progresses with that.
Yeah, the rest of the teen characters is sort of your usual stereotypical, largely unlikable jocks and their girlfriends, sort of cheerleader types.
Jacob, his name was.
He was the young guy.
Yeah, Jacob. Yeah. Nothing really went very. He didn't really go that far with him. And what's our McCarty? Is that him? Yeah, McCarty. That's it.
He's the gun nut character.
Yeah, he's the gun nut. So let's say McCarty and Jacob, they're kind of just bit players on the side.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah, like which makes it stranger that they try and in that latter half of the film they try and boost McCarty's potential as being the killer, because it's sort of like it feels a little contrived, it feels a little forced, because there wasn't, although he's, you know, sort of hinted at as being a bit of a weirdo, but that's not really true.
No, he's not. He's eccentric gun nut.
Yeah, well, I mean,
really?
basically, he sells guns.
Yeah,
and he sells drugs.
Yeah.
I think he's portrayed as being like a guy in his 30s, trying to hang around with high school kids. I think is but not because he's well, yeah, because he doesn't probably become more because he doesn't have mates of his own age than yeah, he's just a bit of a misfit, oddball, eccentric, I suppose. Yeah.
Well, he reminded me a bit
than...
of Lance from played by Eric Stoltz in Pulp Fiction. John Travolta's drug dealer. The way he was just cool and calm and talking about. So do you want this heroin or this heroin? We can go with this. Let me just go get you some baggies and I'll be back in a minute. Just nonchalant about it. And this guy's like, so do you want this gun? Or let me just go over to my secret radio and I'll just open this and about this gun. No, all good. Rather than you're a cop. You're gonna be good. You chill. You cool. How about this gun? Give me my fucking money. I'm like,
it was.
He's cool. He's cool.
Just kind of very comfortable in what he does, and you know that the teens are like, oh, here comes McCarthy. He's a bit of a weirdo, but obviously he's their supplier for any party favors or whatever it is they might be after. So they kind of tolerate this eccentric gun nut drug dealer because he's their drug dealer. They were the usual bunch of like jocks and their girlfriends and stuff, and I mean, I guess you're supposed to. I did kind of hate them to begin with.
Well, who else would you say? So it would be who would have been possibly a suspect for being the killer. Who else do you reckon?
So,
because I didn't once think until, like I said, the end, it was the sheriff.
No, I didn't. I mean, I didn't. I never bought that it was Mitch. I never bought that it was Bobby.
Did you buy at all that it would have been Sheriff's new partner, his new lieutenant, his new deputy?
Oh,
because that kind of came out of nowhere. I think that was like a spanner thrown in the works to make you sort of think, okay, it's got to be him rather than anyone else.
A little bit. I think I dismissed it quite early on, but I was like, oh, potentially it could be him.
Yeah.
I think I was more comfortable with it being him than anybody else.
Yeah.
I didn't know what the connection was going to be. I actually thought the connection might be to the poor guy that gets pushed onto the glass in the door frame and bleeds out. It was right at the beginning, so it was.
Good, yes.
He's actually credited as net glass guy. It's a really small part, and he's just one of the victims of the riot. But I was kind of thinking, well, it's probably going to be something more obscure than because I didn't buy that it was the store manager whose wife we saw die. I was like, I'm not buying that.
No.
It didn't occur to me, obviously, that she might have been having an affair with somebody, and it was them that was the killer. So I thought it's got to be somebody else in this scene, and the only other person and I think it was the first blood that we saw in the movie as well. So it kind of it stuck out as and because I thought, what a way to go! You're being jostled through this glass door that's broken, and through absolutely no fault of your own, somebody's nudged you to one side and in the neck, and that's it. Game over.
Quite
no
a graphic
toaster
scene
oven for you.
Yeah. it's quite a graphic scene, the opening riot, especially with like the security guard. That was another point of the riot. He didn't hire enough security. There was only two guys. One guy ran off, who gets his comeuppance later on, and the one guy that does. Mitch tells him to lock the store, and then they open it because the crowd have advanced to the windows and doors, and they're starting to crack the windows. They're like, open it, just let them in. He gets trampled on completely by the door and them.
Yeah.
And that was do you know, if we had to do like a percentage, like of a tier list of who was your suspect, I think he'd be close to the bottom, but he'd have one hell of a motive to be the killer.
Well, yeah,
our security guard.
I think I did wonder at some points if that might be the case actually as well, whether it's not any of these other survivors, but in fact it might actually be him that he's somehow recovered, and everybody thought he was dead.
Yeah,
and it was actually going to turn out to be him, and obviously that's not the case. But I did wonder if they were going to get a little supernatural twist on it maybe, and he'd be it'd be the security guard from beyond the grave coming back
with sort of disfigured face, like you left me there. Because
Yeah.
there's a moment where I'm not sure. I think it is Jess and Bobby. They're hiding. It's either Jess and Bobby or Evan and his girlfriend, who is played by social media influencer Addison Rae. What's her name in this? Gabby and Evan. It's either one of the two couples. They're sat by one of the tills on the floor, and they're reaching out to the security guards, like grab a hand, come over here. You kind of seeing that shot by shot of like this is his motive, because they tried to help him but they didn't help him, and these arseholes are trampling him. He's got motives from both sides here to just be just want to get revenge on the world. Basically, the world has done him wrong.
Yeah. You know, he was just an innocent, hapless security guard, and was caught up in this rabid consumerism and greed. Yeah, who knows?
You remember at all what
wasn't the thing.
The motive for David Boreanaz's killing in spoiler for Valentine in Valentine was? Can you remember why? I can't remember why he was the killer.
He wasn't he a nerdy kid that nobody would
that
give him
was
a Valentine's? He didn't get any Valentines, or so he gave a Valentine to a girl and she humiliated him or something.
He was Ralph Wiggum.
But he grew up to be David Boreanaz. Yeah, I
mean, that's not bad. That's not a bad glow up.
I mean, it's not, and I think if that was the case, you'd be like, well, f those people.
Yeah, look at me now. I don't need them.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah. So I don't know who else there would have been really to be the killer that you could.
No, I think that was it. I think it was a short list.
So Mitch, Ryan, possibly Bobby, possibly the new deputy, possibly the security guard that got trampled.
Yeah, I think that's it.
I think that's potentially it. It's not a huge cast, but it's a and it
turned out to be none of them. It
turned out to be none of them.
Those picks. Like I say, I think it was that list of 5. I feel like there were sort of 3 that I could dismiss early on, and then 2 that were like still potentials right the way through.
Yeah. But that's what's good about these. We talk about, especially Scream. This is a murder mystery. This is like Scream. This is someone under the disguise with an agenda, and you're trying to work out who's the killer. It's not. We know it's Michael killing. We know it's Jason killing.
Yeah.
And that's fun about these films. There's not many of these types of films anymore, which is why it's a great throwback to the 90s. It's an
excellent throwback.
Yeah.
Because you say we don't get this anymore. I mean, no, well, we don't. But I'm just trying to think. What do we? We don't get many slashers these days. So,
but, I mean, Hatchet. It's Victor Crowley. We know it's him. Terrifier. We know it's Art the Clown. We don't know his backstory.
No.
Which I did note down. The little thing about Terrifier in this, like much like Terrifier, it's nice to have a new killer in the modern horror, like John Carver. It's nice to have this sort of iconic new mask, the look, the axe. It's pretty cool. It's nice to have that, but I don't want a sequel.
This is going to be a one and done. I think.
I don't want
like
a sequel.
It was one and done watching it. I don't want this to be a sequel to spawn any sequels at all. No.
But with Terrifier, sorry, I keep interrupting.
Well, I was just going to say this is a good one and done. But that's. It's just nicely encapsulated within the story, whereas Terrifier, you've got the supernatural element and stuff like that. You know what I mean? I think you'd struggle to get a sequel out of this because you'd definitely be going down that Scream route of like, well, it's the brother of the original killer, it's the cousin of the original killer, and then the entire remainder of family trees coming after you.
Well, also you never get a confirmation Patrick Dempsey is killed. In this, they do it is left open, but then you're doing in theory a different film then, You're not doing a
Yeah.
murder mystery if he comes back. It's
If he comes back.
he's back from the dead. We're doing this again, and we've got a new bunch of survivors that are heroes that are going to be killed off one by one.
But I'd want to leave it at that, you know, like leave that sequel bit in, because that's just that's just a little trope, isn't it? It's a little horror movie trope. Like, we get the final scare and we might come back, but then don't do it. Just leave it. Just leave it as a one and done.
So that's pretty much we've gone through the suspects. Near enough the cast. Like our main cast of teen/heroes in this was Evan and Gabby, the jock boy with his girlfriend. We've got the jock's best friend, who's a little bit more down to earth, Scuba.
Yes,
And,
I mean, he's also like on the team, isn't it? Were they baseball players? Couldn't
American
it may have
sport.
It was American sport 2, I think. I don't. It was one of them. I'm not sure.
One of them. And his girlfriend, Yulia, who her dad just has like a sort of cameo in the show in the episode. Why do I keep calling this like referring to this as a TV show in the episode, the show? In the film later on, he's not really established at all until the mayhem starts happening in the town, and he just turns up. Yulia, we must leave now.
He arrives
very Russian
to Florida, and he is very like Russian henchman, gangster, Russian goon number 3.
He's got many duster coats and black gloves at home.
Yeah.
We've got Jess.
It's never really
girl.
Established who he is, what he does.
It's not established at all, because of the fact she hasn't got the Russian accent.
No, and in fact, I didn't even pick up anybody calling her Yulia until he says it.
I don't think I did either. No,
I was convinced that it was Julia until her dad turned up with the thick Russian accent and was pronouncing it Yulia, and I was like, well, obviously he's going to pronounce it Yulia. That's his accent coming through. And then after that, other characters seemed to be calling her Yulia, and I was like, oh, maybe it's been Yulia all along then, and I've just not been listening to it. I must say, I think as much as I like the characters, I did really kind of struggle keeping up with their names, and like doing this now, I have not made a note of who was who, what the character names were, and I'm looking at the IMDb listing going, I think it's that one. I don't know. They were kind of forgettable I think the problem with that is how they were introduced. We were introduced to the gang very quickly and all at once. Yeah, all at once. Yeah.
Whilst a riot is happening, it's almost a bit much to then try and work out. Okay, what's going on here? Who's that? Who's that? You can do that, but you just need to spread it out a little bit more.
Yeah,
Just
I mean, I'm
a
generally
little bit
kind
more.
of bad at keeping up with who's called what in things anyway. But yeah, I think you're right. It wasn't. There was the bigger event of the riot occurring at the same time as we got introduced to the gang, and they were all just packed into one SUV, and it was a little bit difficult to pick apart who was who.
We definitely had the trope of Evan, the jock, the will eventually be roided out jock, just angsty, angry, and such a douchebag for the most part.
And a little bit thick as well.
A little bit thick, yeah. But for the most part, the gang were pretty. They did. None of them really stood out. I don't think as much. They didn't have individual characteristics as much as say other films in this sort of category would normally have.
Yeah, but I think that's maybe an older thing that's died off a little bit in the genre. I mean, obviously, it was like one of the central themes of like Cabin in the Woods, wasn't it? Where they needed which was obviously lampooning the ones of the slasher films of the 80s, where you very much got the jock and the Girl Next Door and the Stoner and the Slut and
Yeah, it was a parody film basically.
Yeah,
but then
parodying that actual trope. Whereas I think we've grown, generally speaking, as a society a little bit much, and there's a little bit of I suppose more reality that we flesh out characters and they're not just one-dimensional. One aspect of the personality is not their entire defining personality.
If this wasn't the Eli Roth film, if this was directed by someone else, we'd probably have a lot more characteristics. But I think being Eli Roth, and I think he wanted this to be like a throwback, a homage, if you will.
Yeah.
He could have included maybe a few more characteristics in the film, but for the most part, we have our set group that would be in all these other films. They would be, and I was pleasantly surprised by our lead girl, Jess. I thought she was really good.
Yeah,
I thought she was great as a strong character as well.
Definitely a strong character, and we definitely had some again, we've moved away from sort of the dumb decisions. I think we had some smarter actions from our characters generally. Yeah, I mean, it's the first couple of kills that we get in the film. It's not the main group, is it? We get these sort of periphery characters.
Yeah. So when I was doing I got my notes. One of the things I just couldn't remember, because obviously when it's a new film like this, you can't take notes in the cinema. You've got to try and remember everything. Yeah. Half these kills I couldn't remember, and that's not down to the fact that it wasn't memorable. I've just had a lot more going on in life this week, so a lot of these things have just slipped by. So I've got I don't know if you've got it as well. I've got the kill list.
I've got a kill list written down, and I think I've remembered them all. And some of them are incidental kills as well. They're not necessarily the murder victim, but there's a couple of accidents that happen sort of in the in and around the events where a couple of people get killed as well.
You go through them.
Yeah,
let's go through them. Well, the kill list I've got, the first one I've got, it says Doug. Have you got that?
I can't remember who Doug was. Doug was the security guard.
Yeah, but that's the thing. The kill list I've got here, I've just not going to deny, I've just got it up on listofdeath.fandom.com, right? But it's stating he's crushed to death underneath the door. So he does die.
Which I think we're led to believe. I think we're told that he dies, but technically it's glass on it's neck glass man or whatever he's called.
But maybe he doesn't die first.
Oh, I guess. Well, all right.
He bleeds out.
He receives a mortal injury first,
yeah.
But perhaps doesn't officially bleed out until after Doug's been crushed to death.
Yeah. So what would come next? Who have you got next?
There's those two. Then we have the wife. Who's
Amanda.
Again Amanda. I think she'd be the next, and then that's I think that's everybody for the riot. I mean, I think there's maybe a couple of other injuries sustained, and there's bits of fights and things breaking out, but they're like the first. They're the fatalities I think that we see.
Amanda's death is just. Can we just talk about that for a second?
She gets scalped.
She gets scalped, but it's by a woman we are focused on a little bit during the riot crowd, who is very angry and wants her microwave oven.
Yes.
And it's her trolley that gets entangled on Amanda's hair once she's been knocked over. And just get the fucking hair off my trolley. Rips part of her scalp off. But that's how she dies, right? She just bleeds to death from a minor scalp. When I say minor, obviously being scalped anyway is bad, but it's not like
I think doesn't she get hit in the head as well? Doesn't somebody run a trolley into her or something like that? I think.
Oh, there we go. Sorry, here we go. It does say here, bled out after having part of her scalp torn off by the wheel of a shopping cart that had earlier smashed into her head. So trauma damage. Yeah, it's not like the beginning of Evil Dead Rise where the demonic girl grabs the ponytail and rips the scalp right off.
Honestly, scalps come off far too easy in movies than There's never any indication or like belief that the hair is going to come out first. It's like, nope, you pull hair hard enough, you're scalping somebody.
And it always ends where the hairline ends.
Yeah.
The skin just suddenly just stops there. It doesn't keep like ripping off parts of your forehead or cheek. But yeah, she has a horrible death. I mean, no death is pleasant, but hers is pretty gruesome.
No, I mean certainly not on the floor of a Walmart. Other department stores are available.
Yes. So then, now we start getting into the killing spree of our killer.
Yeah. So our first actual victim is the aforementioned angry trolley woman, Lizzie. I think she's credited as.
Yeah.
Who was the waitress in the local diner that seems to be a bit of a hub for everybody.
Yeah.
So I mean that's the other thing about this is it's a small town, isn't it? It's
it's a very local town for local people.
Mm-hmm. So everybody
they didn't burn him.
I've been rewatching Lean the Gentleman at the minute. It's absolutely outstanding.
Actually, they did burn him in the end.
I love that show so much. Yeah, so she's the waitress. So she gets off, and that's one of the main kills that we're privy to in the trailer, where she gets stuck to the freezer door, and then
that's great.
She's attacked with an axe, but what we don't see is that she actually manages to escape that, and what actually kills her is a dumpster outside.
A very sharp dumpster.
I was like, as soon as it happened, I was like, don't they usually have plastic lids? But whatever. But yeah, she is run over with a car and like sort of hit with a car. Well, she goes flying into the dumpster and is cut in half by the lid.
Is that what I thought? Yeah, I was trying to remember back. I thought it was a case where she was trying to climb into it, and because he was chasing her with the car, and he then hits the dumpster, and the dumpster comes down. I mean, maybe but yours sounds a bit more. Yours sounds a bit more correct. Where she's being chased, and I always think with this whole trope of being chased, go to the side.
Yeah,
don't keep going straight. I thought
that maybe she's running to the dumpster to climb over it and get over the fence or something like that, potentially. But yeah, she basically gets hit and knocked into it, and the lid comes down and cuts her in half, which I was really not expecting. So I think it was very entertaining. And then the following day they find one half of her strapped up to the front of the store, and a second part, the top half, has disappeared. Next kill is the security guard that runs away. Manny, I think he is.
Yep, Manny. I was really like thinking, please leave the cat alone. Please don't kill the cat.
I definitely had that as well.
But I was also had in mind, okay, the cat's going to die. I have to accept it. But I'm going to have to accept it now. It's fine. Just accept it.
All right. You got fed as well.
He was looked after really well. Got a few scratches. Yeah. He was great.
So he got decapitated with the cheese wire or whatever it is.
Garrote wire. Around his neck.
Then we have the trampoline death stroke neck snap of
yes, Lonnie and Amy, the happy couple. Now, I was a bit confused with this scene because Lonnie is a character from the beginning of the film. He was one of the douchebags in the crowd that was partly instigating the riot, and he's of the opposing school.
Yeah,
the roid rage in all of these young teens, where school pride is number one. You know, fuck that other school.
Again, this is one of those things that strikes me as being a very American thing.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, I can remember at high school there always being a rumor that there was going to be a meet-up with the other school down the road for a fight, and it never actually happened.
No.
But we didn't have the sort of, again, it's a very American trope of like stealing the school mascot or trashing the rival team's locker room, or that sort of, like sabotaging the pep rally, whatever a pep rally is.
We've got spirit. Let's hear it.
Fight and win.
Yeah. Well, also the thing with that is like, did you ever have the thing of when you went to school trips and if there was another school there, it's like, who are you? Hey, who are you? What are you looking at? It was
a
like
little bit.
You put your differences aside with people in your school to team up to like, yeah, look at them. Hey, what are you doing?
What are they doing?
What do you think
Look
you're
at that
doing?
Teacher. His teacher looks weird. Yeah, but you never know. You didn't know who they were. It wasn't like, oh, it's
no,
those.
No idea.
It's those guys from West Chestington. Hi.
No clue whatsoever. Yeah.
Dolphins suck. The fighting potatoes rule.
Who are we? The Wildcats. Who are they? Who are we going to beat up? The Wildcats.
The Ogdenville Wildcats.
Yeah, that's
the Springfield Wildcats. Next week it's the Shelbyville Wildcats.
The thing with this scene is that, at the beginning he's wearing like I call them Team Blue. He's from the Blue School because our heroes from Team Red. I don't remember what the school's called. Yeah,
Red School's
but
better.
In this scene where Lonnie is at the gym getting his pump on with all his other bros getting their pump on,
which is also very weird
because
it's a high school gym and he's
but they always look.
Is that like is that the team? Is that like a team gym session for whichever American ball sport they play in this thing? I don't know.
Well, but the thing is, every American high school is portrayed this way. They're basically mid-20-year-olds. They look bigger than me, and they're jacked up to the gills. They still act like kids, but they don't look like their age. They never do. They never portrayed like their age. The thing with this that really bothered me, I was a bit confused, maybe I missed something, was that I got the impression they were from a different school, which they were. They were in the school they were in, this gym, and they went to the gymnasium. He went with his girlfriend. He was Amy. Yeah, they went to the gym with a trampoline, and they were killed in this gymnasium. Next shot, the school is closed down, cordoned off by the police. Right, it's empty in there, but it's the same school that Jess, Evan, Scuba go to.
Yes.
So why
it was, wasn't it?
Is it the same school?
Yeah, that is. You're right. I think you're right.
That I really confused me.
Because the police were already present there when the kids go off and Jess is waiting outside for them, and then she goes in. Because she looks, there's that distinct shot where she looks and sees that the police are there, and she thinks, "Oh, it'll probably be all right. I'll go in."
Well, I believe Evan, and Gabby go in first, and that's where they get kidnapped by a killer, and then Jess follows them. But I'm fairly certain it's the same school.
Else. Unless there was another reason why they were there, another reason why the police were there. I mean, is there something we'd forgotten about?
I don't think so. It wouldn't surprise me if we have.
It was very set up as this is the rival school, but the police were at that one. Oh, had they not just been a run-in? Had somebody not just seen the killer and escaped from them? I can't remember.
No, I can't remember that bit.
Specific note on this, and this is over a couple of weeks now of 80-hour, 70-hour work weeks. I can't remember.
Leave your thoughts in the comments.
I don't feel like it was the same school. I feel like there's another reason why the police were there already. And have they not found part of a victim there or something like that? Maybe. I can't remember.
All I remember is that they would just after the scene of Lonnie has his neck snapped while Amy is on the trampoline. I was a little bit disappointed we didn't get the original kill, which I want to I would also talk about some of the homages to his original trailer.
Yeah.
Because I really love that he really kept a lot of that in. It was a shame we didn't get that kill, but I understand. Because it's horrific. And to be fair, it's not even a kill. If you look at what he did to Amy in the original Thanksgiving trailer, wouldn't have killed her. It would have been mega painful and uncomfortable and led to even more attacks, but
making me cringe
but
just thinking about it.
But once she's killed, I think it goes straight to police outside the school, school's closed off, school's cornered off.
Yeah, we don't even see that much of her getting killed, really. There's a lot of cutaway in that scene, and I thought we're not even seeing what we know what's happening, but you don't really even see that much of it. But we also find out later that she doesn't get killed at that point, does she? She's the wine bag in the freezer.
Is that her?
That's her.
Yeah. I was wondering who that was.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't figure it out.
Yeah, that's her.
The wine bag.
The wine bag.
Okay, that's good to know. Okay, so yeah, that's a bit of a mystery, that part of the story, because if it is her, then that means he's taken her away because she's still alive at that point. She moves in the bag because the new wife of Jess's dad, who has been kidnapped at that point, finds her in there later on. We'll get to that.
I mean, she's also there again. She's not killed until at the table when he says, "I've got our cheerleader friend is going to be our vintage accompanying the meal or whatever." That's the point where she's actually killed.
Love that bit. I love that bit.
She's kept away. I mean, so at this, we probably should mention that at this point is where this is where we get the main group of teens sort of brought into it a little bit more, because with every kill that we've had so far, there's been like a post on Instagram or some other social media from this John Carver account tagging all the other teen group, all the other cast members in it.
They're involved now. They're involved.
They're involved now. Yeah, which might be why the police are at the school. You know, that they're just there to try and get some information, because that could be when they're interviewing.
Possibly.
Jess, but I seem to recall there being tape up around the door as well.
Yeah.
After, and I'm conflating two scenes.
Very unsure about that scene. Very unsure. But you mentioned that they get brought back. They get brought into the fold now. Our main group. This is where they start to get picked off, in some sense. In fact, not all of them get picked off.
No,
only one. In a great kill.
Yeah.
Because it's at this point where Yulia, I believe it's at this point where Yulia is taken back by her dad, and they're like, we're fucking off to Florida. We're getting the hell out of here. And it is also at this point where Scuba and Jess go to get some protection from McCarthy.
Yeah.
They get the protection. He's not very... When they get the protection, though, he's a bit... he's not happy with the guns on offer. That first gun wasn't that bad.
In the first gun, he offers him a Desert Eagle, though. Isn't it something ridiculous?
It might have been. But, like, why would you want a less powerful gun when you're trying to protect yourself?
Well, this is what I kind of liked about this scene, because I think in an older movie it would have been like, oh, is this all you've got? Give me something bigger. Yeah. And it kind of flips out on its head, because it's like, this is ridiculous. We just need something to, like something smaller is gonna stop him equally as efficient. We don't need to put like holes in the guy. So it did just make me chuckle a little bit, because they kind of flipped that on the head. The usual scene would have been escalating like to a bigger and bigger gun, but
when do we get the freaking guns?
It goes the other way, and he's like, give me something smaller, because this is ludicrous.
Yeah, and it takes 2 more guns just to get the one he wants, which is like a little small Glock, very basic pistol. they head over to Yulia's.
He tells us exactly what it is. I think if it's an accurate thing, I think he says it's a SIG, isn't it?
Yeah, I can't remember exactly what it was.
6 hour M17, I think.
They head over to Yulia's. Do you remember a reason why they head over to Yulia? Was there a threat against her?
There's a video call, isn't there, or something?
Yeah.
And they know the killers.
Yeah, it's their video.
In the house.
Scuba is on a video chat with her, and I believe she gets attacked during the video call.
Mm-hmm.
Then when they arrive, in fact, in between this, her dad is killed.
Yeah.
No one knows this. Yulia doesn't know this. Scuba and Jess don't know it. So Scuba's on the video chat with Yulia while they're driving to Yulia's. She gets attacked live on the video chat, which then leads them to hurry the fuck up.
Yeah.
Drive.
Maybe they're just going to say goodbye to her or something, or tell
Possibly.
her that there's a little bit more evidence they've found out, or so. I can't remember, but I think they are heading over there anyway. But then they get the extra impetus to go quicker.
When they get there, the house is being renovated fully. There are sheets everywhere, and conveniently a lovely table saw.
You're having flashbacks.
There we go. For anyone who wants to see real gruesome, there's my less of a thumb. Yeah, it's healing. It's healing.
Table saw related.
Yeah.
Accident.
She got it worse than me though, so that's I'll give her that. So yeah, what we got here: Yulia, arm and stomach shredded after being thrown onto a buzzsaw by Sheriff / John Carver, who stabbed her in the ear with 2 corn holders. So
yes, I forgot that was earlier.
Yeah,
the corn, and then she's.
But
she's
before
deaf.
that, they sort of tease something with her eyes. They sort of throw a curveball in the way because they're showing her. I think they show her twice, putting contacts in, but it's a close up.
Mm-hmm.
So it kind of would lead the audience to think, are we going to get an eye gouge? Are we going to get an eye stab or something? No, we got 2 ends of corn straight into her ears by Carver.
The corn. I mean, there isn't. Well, no, that's not true. Actually, I was going to say there isn't much in the way of like themed kills, but I suppose the user specifically using the corn cob holders is one thing, and then we obviously have somebody roasted in an oven.
Yeah, very much so. Basted, cooked properly like a turkey.
As like a turkey. But I think they're the only like overt Thanksgiving related kills. It's not like anybody's choked to death with sweet potato pie or anything.
I mean, it would have been a bit too hammy if that was the case. Like everyone was killed like that. I mean, again, back to Valentine's Day. Doesn't he leave a rose?
Yeah.
Does he leave a rose or calling card? Yeah, it would be like a calling card.
Like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. I'll leave a pumpkin pie by every.
Yeah, I mean, not that it needs to be. Not that it needs to be. The film's called Thanksgiving. It's set around Thanksgiving. Not everything needs to be 100% related to it.
No. No.
But it just got me thinking. Then, do we have more than just? I think it is just those 2 that are.
I think all
the victims are being presented on this Thanksgiving table, and the killer is leading up to this. Hosting a Thanksgiving dinner meal with all these various victims.
Yeah. I think you're right.
Yeah,
you're right.
Julia I think Julia's was my second favourite. I think I liked the dumpster kill just because I wasn't quite expecting that to happen.
I expected her to get literally just cut in half by this lid.
By a dumpster, I think was something unique. Yulia is definitely the goriest kill, though. Yeah, she's led on or pushed onto a. What I really
like about her kill as well is not actually her kill, is Scuba's character at this point, because of the fact we know he's not as douchey as Evan, but he does have a heart, obviously, for his girlfriend, and I appreciate the fact that he said, "What do I do?" because Yulia is John Carver's got Yulia around the neck with a knife, I believe, or an axe or a weapon, and he's like, "What do I do? What do I do?" Rather than big fucking tough guy, bang bang bang, I got you, babe. Like he Jess, what do I do? What do I do? And it doesn't go their way. Yulia gets knocked onto the saw, shreds up her insides, and she's John Carver escapes. She's left laying on him. His girlfriend bleeding out. Well, I think she's pretty much dead at this point. I don't think she's bleeding out on him. I think she's dead with her guts hanging out, and he's just absolute shock. But what do I do now? What do I do now? He just doesn't know how to take in this whole situation. I really liked his character work then.
Yeah, it was good. I mean, and a little bit, like I say, a little bit more depth than perhaps you'd expect from a from a slasher.
Oh, completely.
Yeah, I think then is the next kill our turkey in the parade,
Yes.
or is that before? Is that before Yulia?
No, the parade is next.
The parade is next, because I think I wrote my kills down as I remembered them, and not necessarily in the order of which they occurred. But yeah, we have the broad daylight Thanksgiving parade attack with the it's the young nerdy kid, isn't it? In the turkey costume, he plays the turkey mascot.
Yeah, his name is Lionel. I'm trying to find what he looks like in the film.
But yeah, it's full on.
Yeah.
Well, it's the protesters. The protesters, led by Mitch, attack the well, not attack, but disrupt the parade and throw smoke bombs about.
Yeah, it's kind of their fault, really.
And while the cover of the smoke is there, yeah, John Carver is able to run in and decapitate the guy in the turkey costume, which also leads to somebody getting the prow of a ship through the back of the head, or through their entire head.
This was probably my favourite kill of the film.
I liked it. It was good
because it came out of nowhere. Yeah. So they're on the parade. The float that they're on is basically a Puritan one. It's like the model of the Mayflower.
It's the Mayflower. It is the model of the Mayflower.
And like Jess and Scuba are working with the police. They're kind of trying to set up John Carver.
Yeah.
So the police are patrolling. Jess and Scuba dressed up as the pagans on the boat. Everyone's just
Puritans.
on the lookout. Pagans.
Not pagans.
What's the difference? Tell me what the difference is. I keep getting it wrong. I feel like
Christianity, pagans.
Oh, you're right. Oh my God, you're right.
or that.
I apologize. I feel like I've got that wrong the whole episode. Okay, I mean episodes in podcast. The Pilgrims.
Yes.
Happy Thanksgiving, Pilgrims. Dressed as Pilgrims, as are, what was his name? He's just named as Unnamed Man, but he looks like he's sat next to, I want to say, either grandkids or kids in the front of the van lorry. And yeah, this boat just the what is it called? The base, the hull,
the bowsprit.
Yeah,
I think is the actual term for it.
Pierced the back of his skull, and out of the front of his face just opens up, and the blood spurts on the kids. It's horrific. It's gruesome. It's great.
If you can imagine putting an olive on a toothpick, it's like that, but the toothpick is most of
blunt.
Blunt and significantly thicker. So
yeah, it's not going to come out clean the other end.
Just skewered on this beam of wood, on this pole of wood. It's just ridiculous.
It's so gross. I didn't see it coming. And even he, really, but...
No, well, no, didn't. No, because it's like you say, you've got a killer, like, operating and bumping off particular specific targets. And this is just an accident, the freak accident that occurs in the chaos of something else happening. And it's, we'll just absolutely ruin this poor guy's head in front of his kids. It's just awful.
So
He says,
there's
laughing.
no, it's funny. There's a interesting point about this. The parade is that obviously this was another focal point from the original trailer. Guy in the turkey costume, in a pilgrim outfit, gets head chopped off during the parade, and in this book, Grindhouse behind the scenes book, there's a couple of pages talking about the Thanksgiving trailer and a whole interview by Eli Roth. Like, if you can see the pictures.
There you go. Yeah.
There's our turkey boy. Whole interview by Eli Roth about how they produced it in 2 days. He produced it out in Prague just as they finished shooting Hostel Part 2.
Oh, right.
And like everyone pretty much worked for free. Michael Biehn was really wanted to get involved. Michael Bihn's in that trailer for like a second as the cop. The kids in the parade were like local majorettes troupe. They're spinning their baton, twirling, and they got them to get involved. But he had to really specifically say to the kids, like, this is going to be really horrible. Okay, this is going to be really bloody. And when they did it, apparently they chopped it off, had the blood spurting out, and some of the kids got covered. Some of the kids apparently were just traumatized, screaming and shouting. And then instantly flipped, apparently, to once the camera stopped, they were kicking around the loose head, laughing, having fun with it and everything. So I'm really glad they kept that in there as well, because like we said earlier about the original trailer, a lot of it was kept in. I'm really happy it was, because I don't think many people saw that original trailer.
No, it was
to a lot of people,
a new one on me. I watched it since we did the trailer for the full feature. I went out and watched some of the other ones, and I've never seen all of them.
I think to a lot of people this is just a new horror film. They don't. I mean, not everyone needs to know the background to every horror film or film. That's for us horror nerds and freaks. But it's a really interesting background, and to see where it came from. Like they had 2 days. And what's also interesting about the original trailer is that when you do a fake trailer like that, you don't have to worry about the story. There is no story.
It's just a bunch of scenes mashed together. Yeah, there doesn't need to be any. At no point do you think I need to have a story here. It can just be. No.
All you have to establish is there's a killer going around killing people. Like show the killer looking the same in each scenario. None of the scenarios have to link. It's just a killer killing people in different ways. It's great.
Yeah, very much.
One thing that did kind of feel a bit out of place though was who our killer. We know our killer is the sheriff, dressed up as that clown in the parade, and how he then he was dressed up as a clown to. That's how he kidnapped Jess Scuba. He kidnapped someone else. There was someone else in that. Evan and Gabby were already taken.
It was the tranquilizer pistol, wasn't it? It was the father.
Oh yes, of course. Yeah, the dad, the owner, Thomas Wright. Yeah. Did you recognise him, by the way? The actor.
I did, but I couldn't place where from. But
Hostel.
Yeah. Oh, it's years since I've seen Hostel.
He's one of the killers, the torturers.
Right.
Yeah. He's the American.
I've seen him in something else.
Oh, he's got that face.
More recently than that. I'm just having a quick skim through his credits, though, and there's nothing. But there's nothing that jumps out. But
he's a big TV guy.
Yeah, and it must just be a random.
So it was the three of them that got kidnapped. But the clown mask just, I don't know, it didn't look right. It didn't feel right.
I mean, maybe that was a subtle way of. Oh, I don't know. Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't know where I was going with that. Yeah, it was a little bit out there. Maybe because he told the officers that it was going to be the John Carver mask that
Yeah, maybe.
Something
A good
else.
way to get her out of it. It's not just Thomas Wright, it's Kathleen Wright as well gets kidnapped, his new wife.
Yeah.
Which then leads into the scene at the Carver house.
Yes.
And her this was a bit longed out, her death. Sort of she wakes up, tries to escape from the house while he's still hunting her. A little bit of hiding there. Then eventually gets captured and caught, basted, seasoned, set to 180 for however many hours. Flesh melted, cooked alive in the oven.
There was no indication that she was stuffed prior to going into the oven. A bit of sage and onion.
Zing!
I'm just, that's how people cook turkeys, isn't it? There were no.
Wouldn't he have to take the giblets out first?
I mean, I was going to say there was no giblet removal that we saw either.
Yeah,
but yes, fully. I like that again as well as just being a particularly gruesome way to go. Being burned alive is probably one of the most horrible ways to go, and it's it's very unhinged and unique things to do to somebody, who isn't really okay, she's the wife of the store owner, but arguably has the least to do with, apart from the other, the Lizzie. She doesn't really have much to do with it. And that's a particularly if you were going to roast anybody alive as the turkey on your horrible murderous Thanksgiving dinner, surely the dad, surely Thomas would be the centerpiece, being responsible for the store being opening and the facilitating the entire tragedy to occur. Whereas she's just a bit of a bystander in terms of that.
I think it's
it just ramps it up as well, because up to now we've had attempted axe murderings and run somebody over and actual axe murderings as well.
Yeah,
and you can kind of go all right, his partner, the love of his life, got killed and it's revenge. But then to roast somebody alive is a step up from stabbing a few people.
I know what you're saying. Yeah,
you know what I mean.
There's a lot more work involved with it.
Yeah,
I think though with her, she doesn't get much play with the film, but it's her motives in the film. She pretty much eggs on Thomas.
Yeah.
He's got a little bit of a weakness to his new wife because she is a new wife. I think Jess mentions her mum passed away and she hates Kathleen. Yeah. She's that bit of a gold digger sort of looking, feeling character.
It's that, isn't it? Yeah. She's got her hooks into Thomas because he's a successful businessman, and
she eggs him on to keep the store open and be open this new year. Which then leads back to, if she didn't do this, if he didn't open the store because of her, this wouldn't have happened. It kind of comes back to her.
I suppose. But I think you'd have to maybe know about their relationship to make to make that connection. I think if from the outside you'd just blame him as the store owner and you'd put him at the top of the blame tree. Unless you knew them intimately and knew that, but even then it's down to him to say yes or no, I suppose.
Their relationship's only alluded to bit by bit throughout the film. We don't get that much backstory between them, but we just get that specific reason. Yeah. And she's after she's cooked, another homage again to the original trailer. She is the turkey.
Yes, she is the turkey presented in the. I mean, they've even got the little chef's hat, drumstick end things.
Thankfully,
that was a nice touch.
Thankfully, we don't get what happens to the turkey in the trailer on this film. Do you remember?
No, I don't remember.
at the very end of the original Thanksgiving trailer, that turkey, quote unquote, is being heavily pleasured from behind.
Oh.
Yeah, it's wild. It's a split set. I'm going to see if I can quickly just...
Quite literally, the turkey does get stuffed.
There we go. End the podcast. That's great. Great line.
No, I don't recall that bit. But like you say, they made some. I guess the main changes are that sort of more sexual element to the killings is taken out, I suppose. But she does get a little bit carved and eaten.
Yes, hang on. Well, just give me a sec. I found it. Right, have a look at this. I'm linking it to you at the exact point when it happens. Okay. This is the end of the 2007 Thanksgiving fake trailer by Eli Roths, and you can see right after the title, you'll see what I'm saying. And no, folks, I'm not going to put it up as a clip on the on here. Just go watch it for yourself.
Oh, hold on, it's played it from the beginning.
2 minutes 16 started from.
Oh, yep.
You see what I mean?
Yep, I definitely saw that.
It's a little bit Butler from Scary Movie 2. Get the turkey on here, get the stuffing in there.
Yes, so we've got the large bird with the meat thermometer in and stuff, and it's the head on a small turkey body, I think, isn't it?
Yep. Yes, it is.
In front of some children, no less, as well. That is a scene.
Yep. It most definitely is a scene. I
think I can understand why they didn't go down that route.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that he kept the dinner scene, them tied up. It's very Texas Chainsaw. Didn't they wake up this horrific dinner scene? We get a kill here and there. We get near enough cannibalism. What you were about to say with Kathleen being cut up. Just like a turkey. I love that. Like a little sliver being cut up. Yeah. It looks so gross. Does he force it to Thomas?
I think he does, yeah.
Yeah.
I think he does.
And then
a bit of vomiting.
Then Amy's death, final death, being the corkscrew to get the wine, quote unquote, out. I love that. And then Evan's death. Evan's death at the table with the meat tenderizer. Yes. That was basically Galen Ross's cast of a head cast just being exploded again, just being crushed by a meat tenderizer.
Yeah, it's very, very brutal. But are they streaming it at this point as well? It's all being streamed, I think, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Because we've got the police are trying, but there's a bunch of dummy phones and like relays and things, so the police are turning up to
the wrong place,
the wrong locations, and finding the streams of the streams being broadcast, which is a bit Saw-esque.
I was just about to say that. It is. Yeah. It is very Saw-esque, yeah. But it's a bit of an exposition scene, but it's not like he takes off the mask and the hat and goes, "It was me, and this is the reason why I did it. This is the reason why I killed this person." And I like the overdubbing. Like, it's not his voice. It's kind of like a Ghostface sort of voice modulation. So it's not overly over the top exposition where it's an instant reveal. It's just a little bit of this is what's happening to you. This is why this is happening to you.
Yeah. It just works nicely with that scene playing out, and the police are on the way. And I think they're not going to be going to the right place. I think we know that it's going to be a red herring, but
actually, when they went to McCarthy's, he gave her this little it was like a little James Bond scene where Q would give Bond the gadgets and guns. So he went through the guns and then got that little ring that had a little blade on it.
It's got a little blade in it, and I think he says it belonged to his dad.
Yeah.
Who'd it saved his. I think he said there was something like it saved his life in Iraq,
Yeah.
or something like that. Yeah, there's a couple of times throughout the film where he's basically trying to give her this like tactical. There's a belt, I think, with a knife in the buckle. I think when Scuba gets his gun earlier, he's trying to give her another sort of like punch dagger in a belt buckle combination thing. But yeah, he does succeed in giving her the ring, which is ultimately what allows her and Scuba to escape, isn't it?
Yeah. Yes, they escape the cabin, and this is the point where I was starting to believe, okay, I think the sheriff is the killer. Because when they escape the cabin, or when Jess escapes, because Scuba gets knocked down in the cabin, Carver starts chasing Jess. Jess climbs the fence. Carver, I believe, climbs the fence as well, or gets stuck at that point. Either way, Jess keeps running, runs down the road and finds Sheriff on the knocked to the ground by a police car. And Sheriff states that he had Bobby tied up as a suspect or something like that. Bobby knocked him down and escaped, and that's where we see a quick glimpse of Bobby running into the warehouse.
Yeah.
How the hell? He was already in the Carver costume. How did he get there first? Changed, down on the ground. Yeah. It feels a bit inconsistent with the timings on that.
It is very, it'd have to be very quick. It'd have to be very, I mean, well, as we said earlier, I hope that it doesn't go for a sequel, but if it does, maybe there's a reveal that he had an accomplice.
Yeah.
But there isn't enough motive for
No,
there isn't a motive for an accomplice.
The motive is very personal. It's so personal.
Yeah, definitely. There's no logical reason how we'd be able to really convince somebody to go along and help him out with it. Yeah,
so that was probably the thing out of the whole film. The film itself was solidly structured, I felt. Apart from the odd thing we mentioned earlier about the school and the gym, are they the same place? And now this, which
I'm not sure about that. I do think we've forgotten something there, but this, like you say, is the timing is far too tight.
It is,
so it doesn't quite work. But I wasn't. I was definitely not thinking it was Bobby. Is it Bobby? Yeah,
her ex-boyfriend. Yeah,
That definitely wasn't thinking it was Bobby. So it's not like I was hoodwinked that. Oh, it's the sheriff chasing the actual killer, but no, it turns out it's the sheriff. I was like, well, we know it's not Bobby. It can't be Bobby. And I'm not twigged it was the sheriff until he comes out of the warehouse and was like, oh, I think I shot him, but he got away. And I was like, it's absolutely him. But at no point prior to that was I thinking it was Bobby. It was going to be a third party. It was going to be somebody else.
I never caught a motive that would lead us to believe Bobby would be the killer. He got his wrist broken during the riot,
which ended his career supposedly. Yeah. But when we come back to him, he says like, "Oh, it's healed," and the therapist is saying it's as good as ever, and there's no problem essentially. So, did it ruin his career? Not really.
No.
And also, well, I say also what career, but I suppose. Sport in America does work like that, doesn't it? If you're top of your game in high school, you'll get a college sponsorship out of it, and that's generally how people make their way into
it's life
into the pro leagues.
Yeah.
So a high school injury could potentially end any prospect of a future career. But it's baseball because he's a pitcher, I think, isn't it? That
makes sense. Yes, he is a pitcher. Yeah, you kind of need your hand for that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
but he does say that it's fine.
It's fine.
Not a career ender, maybe a slight hiccup on the road to still doing it, but who knows?
Yeah.
It wasn't a strong motive, and he left and he's come back. But I mean, the main reason why you know it's not him is that he's half the size of the person in the Carver mask running around through the entire film. He's
really small.
He's a little short fellow. It's definitely not him.
I do like, though, this website I've got here, the last death obviously being Sheriff Eric Newland / John Carver, blown up by Jess with a turkey balloon full of flammable gas, quote, in brackets, debatable. So it really is established that it is debatable that he dies, because that's the way to get around it. You do an explosion.
Yeah. And I think they mentions that they find no trace of him as well, didn't they?
They do. The fire brigade go.
But they sort of say, like, oh, well, an explosion like that, you wouldn't expect there to be any trace. But yeah, like you say, it's all very convenient for to leave it open-ended.
Yeah. Which they kind of tease a bit at the end.
They do. We get our sort of usual, she wakes up from a nightmare and then it's a nightmare within a nightmare, as we get a bit of jump scare of him fully on fire jumping out of the closet at her, which is quite good.
That is the nightmare, isn't it?
Yeah, but doesn't she have a little dream where she wakes up and
that's what I mean. She wakes up thinking that seeing the cupboard open, goes to check it out, and isn't that the nightmare?
Oh, maybe.
Where
because
he can't. Yeah, on fire.
Yeah, and then she wakes up. I thought it was another level to it than that, but
I can't remember now. I think there is. I think let's have a look on our reliable source, Wikipedia.
Like you say, I think it's shorter waking up and seeing the cupboard door.
Yeah.
And the closet door, and that was But I thought we had something prior to that indicated that it might be a dream. I might be wrong. It's neither here nor there anyway. Yeah, we get a little tease of him jumping out and being on fire, and then that was it, wasn't it? Was it roll credits at that point?
Yep. Yeah. The authorities are unable to find Newland's remains, leading them to believe he was incinerated in the explosion. However, Jess continues to have nightmares of a flaming Newland attacking her from bedroom closet.
Yeah.
And she's still with Ryan at this point.
She is. Yeah. She don't really know why.
No, he's a dickhead.
I mean, like I say, it's leaned on that he might be the killer, and he does come across as being a fucking douchebag, to be quite honest.
He really does. He really does.
Especially when she, has questions about him, and he does throw his toys out of the pram massively and act like a complete numpty. And we get a was it the Misfits playing out on the credits? I think
it was a really cool credit sequence.
It was
really nice. The artwork was really cool. And just one thing with that final scene of her nightmares, it was very reminiscent again of I Know What You Did Last. I Still Know What You Did Last Summer. Right at the end, Jennifer Love Hewitt and Freddie Prinze Jr. They're back home. It's like the final scene. They're getting ready for bed. She sits down, looks at the mirror in front of her, and she can see the killer underneath the bed. Grabs her and pulls her under, and then the film ends. So you don't know if that's real or not, because how the hell did he get there? Very, very, again, another thing very reminiscent of that series or that era. But they leave it open-ended.
Yeah, but like I say, I hope that's just a choice to sort of use a well-trodden trope.
Yeah.
I'd be quite disappointed to see a sequel. When the credits rolled and me and my partner finished, turned to each other, I think we both pretty much said at the same time, it was good, but it's a one and done. Like I don't.
It should be.
Yeah, I don't want to see any more of it. I don't think Carver is iconic or really entertaining enough as a killer to warrant sequels. You know what I mean? He's quite.
It's not.
It's you know what I mean. He's not doing anything special. Should I say? It's probably the way to describe it. It's.
Well, look at your other holiday slashers, right? Which, in theory, was the inspiration for. I mean, in fact, Eli Roths states in this book that, growing up in the 70s and 80s, you had the first Black Christmas, then Halloween, Mother's Day, My Bloody Valentine, Silent Night, Deadly Night, April Fool's Day. All these were his inspiration for why do we not have a Thanksgiving one?
Thanksgiving one.
But then you look at where these ones went, Black Christmas, great, standalone, and it ends open-ended. Killer's still there. It's great, leave it. Halloween, unfortunately, look what they did with it. That would have been a perfect one and done. Mother's Day's a bit different. Mother's Day's a bit goofier. It's a trauma film. My Bloody Valentine, I don't believe has a sequel. Ends open-ended. It doesn't end all happy days, everyone's great, killer's dead. Silent Night, Deadly Night, from what I remember, spoiler, we'll be talking about that soon. And April Fool's Day, little twist to that film. Where go listen to our past episode. But for the most part, they kind of end open-ended and don't go on to sequels, which is a much better idea, much better way of going about it. Because if you dedicate to a sequel, you've got to hit the nail on the head. You've got to do it right.
Yeah, it's just not. It just doesn't need one. Just doesn't need one.
If your sequel doesn't land, it could put a real blemish on your original success. It could really hinder people wanting to watch this first film because they know what's coming after.
Yeah. I mean, arguably, though, why would you go and see Thanksgiving 2 without watching Thanksgiving 1 first?
So what do you call it? Thanksgiving 2? It's rubbish.
I mean, I suppose Black Friday. Isn't Black Friday after Thanksgiving? So if you were going to... Thanksgiving 2 would be...
But they've already done the Black Friday bit.
But Black Friday was, yeah, I know. But
yeah. No sequels. No sequels.
But there shouldn't be. There shouldn't be. It was a good one and done, and it's good to see another film come out of the Grindhouse trailers.
Yeah, we have 2 left. I doubt they'll
do them. Are they going to do them?
I mean, Rob Zombie always probably needs money. So
Rob Zombie will do them, is what you're saying.
Well, no, because his trailer was Werewolf Women of the SS.
The SS, yeah.
Which had Nick Cage in. Nick Cage will do it. He'll always do it. He'll do it for a $5.
I mean, to be honest, that would be good. I'd like...
I want Don't. I want Edgar Wright with Nick Frost and Simon Pegg doing Don't. Because... Do you remember Don't, the trailer?
I don't.
Wait, have a watch. Have a look of it now. I'm going to watch it as well because it's fantastic. It's just basically a haunted house film, but the house includes just all the horror you can think of, all the macabre, this horrific things you can think of, and I think it would be fantastic.
I've got it up now.
Yeah, I'm gonna have a look.
Oh, again, it's got that 70s. Oh, crap! Is that Mark Gatiss as well?
Yes, this is basically everyone you can think of from British TV.
I think 70s horror is definitely my favourite era. I just love the grainy footage.
We got. Look at that axe killer, machete killer.
I've just got to Nick Frost.
Yeah, and the baby.
Oh, Rafe Spall there, yeah. Frightening child. Yeah, no, fair one. This is good.
I love this.
I mean, it'd make. I mean, obviously, as we know from the earlier work, Edgar Wright does horror comedy quite well, and this would be a great either film or anthology. Could do a fun horror comedy anthology series.
You could, but I love the idea of it just being a roller coaster of this house is like a H.H. Holmes house where
it's
there's
like
traps,
haunted by everything,
traps and what shit everywhere. There's a killer in this part of the house. There's a zombie. There's a just utter madness, right? It nonsensical. It doesn't have to make sense, and I just want it to be crazy fun.
Yeah.
In 2 hours, give it 2 hours because there's going to be a lot to include in it. But I think that would be superb. I enjoyed Machete.
I enjoyed Machete. I enjoyed Hobo with a Shotgun.
I've still never seen Hobo with a Shotgun.
It was all right. Again, amusing for what it is. I think I've watched it once and never really felt an inkling to watch it again. But yeah,
Did you see the original trailer?
No, again, see, I've never watched the things, but given you don't hear that there's a film called Hobo with a Shotgun, and then think I'm not going to watch that. So I don't know if I did have it at one point. I don't know if I've still got it in the collection.
I believe it was Rutger Hauer as well, right?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. So there's the original trailer for Hobo with a Shotgun, the original one. Have a look at that. This feels like a trauma film, the way it's shot and filmed. Hobo with a Shotgun.
Yeah, definitely.
It looks like it's recorded on a handy cam.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's beautiful.
In fact, it's being made to look sort of like that same 70s Grindhouse look, yet quite clearly all mod cons and buildings and cars and things in the background.
I'm fairly certain this trailer wasn't shown this as much. This was held back quite a bit from a lot of showings. I think this was meant to be put after Death Proof. So in the Grindhouse settings, it went Machete, Planet Terror, other trailers, Death Proof, and then Hobo. I think that's how it went down. Yeah, this trailer goes. This trailer just goes.
It is. Yeah, it's definitely got that sort of trauma.
We're all dirty cops. Pedo Santa. That's a good one.
Brilliant.
It's just mad. You get ninjas, cyborg ninjas, and
yeah, I think there's a Nazi at some point in there as well, isn't there? Because the perennial villains knocking his teeth out.
Yeah, the teeth. Yeah.
I mean, why not? Why not do them all? At this point, it feels like they probably should. At some point,
there's material and ideas right there waiting to go.
Finish them off.
Yeah,
and then you could have a nice little Grindhouse box set of all the films. There you go. That's food for thought for you, isn't it? That's something that you're going to be thinking long and hard about after.
Well, the problem is Grindhouse itself. Planet Terror you can get on DVD as Death Proof. It's impossible to get them on Blu-ray or 4K. The only place I found it is a production company in Australia where you can get it as a collector's edition. It's really hard to find.
Yeah,
I don't believe streaming services have it. But for collecting purposes, to have Machete, Planet Terror, Death Proof, now Thanksgiving. I've seen Thanksgiving's already going to be released, I believe, in January, 4K, a Blu-ray. Like you said, Hobo with a Shotgun. It would be awesome to have them all.
Yeah.
But I don't think we'll ever see that because probably to Quentin and Robert Rodriguez, that's way in the past now. That's nearly 20 years ago, 15 years ago. And it didn't do very well, so move on.
Yeah. But like you say, surely those individual directors could do it. It was 20 years ago, but literally this year is when Thanksgiving came out. So, yeah, if...
hopefully with the success of Thanksgiving, because it's done really well.
It's done well.
It's reviewed well. It's done well. So yeah, hopefully more comes from the Grindhouse experience, shall we say, from 2007.
Well, like you said, Thanksgiving is doing quite well at the minute. Its reviews are 7? Let me say 7 out of 10 on IMDb at the minute, which I think is fair. 82% on Rotten Tomatoes. Yeah, maybe that's a little high for me, but 70%. 70% is 7 out of 10. I think that's fair. A nice one and done. Worth a watch.
Yeah.
Good entertaining movie.
Go see it.
Nice little nod to older slasher movies. Sort of those late 90s, early 2000s ones, as we've said. The the teen star whodunit slasher
Yeah.
film. Yeah, good fun.
Yeah, great, good fun. Go watch it. Go check it out. And if you can't go see it, check it out when it comes out on DVD, Blu-ray, 4K, or video on demand. Highly recommend.
It's probably not too far.
It's as we've said towards the end of the year. We've got a wrap-up episode at the end of the year. I have got a list on my phone, top 10 or top list of films for this year, horror films this year. It's ranking highly from this year for me. It's ranking pretty high. Again, we'll get to that in a month's time. You didn't have anything else to bring to the table for Thanksgiving?
I do not. I like what you did there, though, but no, I think I am stuffed.
Too good at this. Too good at this. That's great. Perfect. So as I said at the beginning, if you are still here, thank you for sticking by. This was meant to be Bride of Frankenstein, but because Thanksgiving was out, it was fresh in our heads somewhat. There's probably a lot we've forgotten. We had to get this out of the way. So next week will be Bride of Frankenstein.
Yeah.
Frankenstein. Looking forward to that. I do like going back to these old classics.
Yeah.
And reviewing them. They're fascinating.
Good to watch them. Finally,
and then the rest of December, all the good Christmas fun. And later on today, you're going to give me your picks. But by the time this is out, by the time people are listening to this, should hopefully already know. So you should see what Christmas fun we've got coming your way, along with the 2023 wrap up. So yes, plenty of good stuff to come. We've got ideas for January. Once you get your Wishmaster box set, we'll go through all the Wishmasters and Species films. Looking forward to that.
I'll have to see what Santa Claus brings me.
Oh, Santa Claus has some good stuff for you. Partly, what part of it is one film we will do in the future.
Okay.
I've said too much.
Have you sent this care package already?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay.
No.
We had a missed parcel delivery card through the other day, and I don't know.
No, not me, sir.
Okay.
No, it will be coming in the near future. So yes, that is Thanksgiving. Do check out the rest of November's episodes where we checked out Kill List and The Vivitch. You can find all that on Spotify, Apple, Google, Podbean, Amazon, and YouTube.
Is there anything in the mailbag?
There isn't anything in the mailbag. I should probably do some more promoting.
Well, if you do wish to send us something into our mailbag, it is the dreadcastpodcast@gmail.com.
Yes,
always happy to hear thoughts, comments, suggestions. Just you just want to get in touch and say hello. You're very welcome to do so. That is the dreadcastpodcast@gmail.com. Well, if that's it, everything that's all done and dusted, Tom, then I've got some work on the car to do.
I think we should go through this again, just in case we've missed out anything. We should fine-tooth comb it. Let's just go through the whole film again, and let's just